Imagine a monk sitting quietly atop a mountain, serene, eyes closed, fully immersed in meditation. Now imagine that same monk, not in a robe, but in the fast-paced world of business, closing deals, managing finances, and accumulating wealth. At first glance, the two seem like polar opposites, as if the pursuit of material success and inner peace are mutually exclusive. But what if they aren't? What if the lessons of spiritual masters, those who have dedicated their lives to mindfulness and detachment, also hold the key to mastering money, success, and balance? In a world driven by profit and ambition, how can we find harmony between the spiritual and the material? Throughout history, spiritual figures like Buddhist monks, yogis, and mystics have offered profound insights on this very topic. Far from renouncing wealth, many have acknowledged that material prosperity can exist alongside inner peace if approached with the right mindset. The teachings from these masters reveal that the problem lies not in wealth itself, but in our attachment to it. The desire, the craving, the endless hunger for more. This is what disrupts our peace, not the wealth we possess. The Buddha himself was born into wealth. Siddhartha Gautama grew up as a prince, surrounded by luxury and opulence. However, he chose to leave it all behind, not because wealth was inherently evil, but because he saw how attachment to worldly pleasures created suffering. This is one of the most foundational teachings in Buddhism. Suffering arises from attachment. Buddha's journey did not suggest that wealth was incompatible with peace. Rather, it was the attachment to wealth that caused distress. Later, as he taught the middle way, the Buddha emphasized balance, not indulgence, not renunciation, but finding equilibrium between the extremes. This principle applies directly to the modern-day question of wealth and success. Money itself is neutral. It's how we relate to it that matters. Take the modern example of the Buddhist monk Matthieu Ricard, often called the happiest man alive. Ricard, a former scientist turned monk, has written extensively on the intersection of mindfulness and wealth. Despite renouncing personal riches, Ricard has spoken about how wealth can be used as a tool for good. He has personally raised millions for charity through his writings and lectures, demonstrating that wealth, when approached with mindfulness and compassion, can alleviate suffering rather than create it. In ancient Hindu teachings, there is the concept of artha, one of the four aims of life, which encourages the pursuit of wealth and material prosperity. But it comes with a condition. The pursuit must be aligned with dharma, moral and ethical duties. Wealth is not for selfish gain, but for the benefit of society and for fulfilling one's responsibilities. The Bhagavad Gita, one of Hinduism's most revered texts, explains this balance beautifully. Krishna advises the warrior Arjuna to act, to engage in the world, but to do so without attachment to the results of his actions. In this sense, success is not determined by the accumulation of wealth, but by the intention and detachment behind one's actions. Yogis too have provided invaluable insights into this delicate balance. Paramahansa Yogananda, a spiritual teacher who brought the teachings of Kriya Yoga to the West, often spoke about the law of success. He emphasized that material success and spiritual progress are not mutually exclusive, but that true success is found in balance. He encouraged his followers to work hard, to pursue their goals, but to do so with a calm mind and an inner detachment from the outcome. Yogananda's teachings suggest that success is not just about what you achieve externally, but also about the peace and satisfaction you feel internally. Consider the life of Ram Dass, an American spiritual teacher who had once been a successful Harvard psychologist named Richard Alpert. Alpert experienced material success early in his career, but found himself feeling empty and dissatisfied. His journey to India, where he met his guru Neem Karoli Baba, transformed him. Ram Dass taught that true wealth is found in love and service to others. Yet, he did not deny the value of money. In fact, he acknowledged that money could be a powerful tool for good, if used with wisdom and compassion. His foundation, Love, Serve, Remember, has raised millions for charitable causes, again showing that spiritual principles can guide the ethical accumulation and use of wealth. In modern times, we also find examples of successful individuals who embody these spiritual teachings. Take the case of Ray Dalio, the billionaire investor and founder of Bridgewater Associates. Dalio is a dedicated practitioner of transcendental meditation, a spiritual practice that has deeply influenced his approach to both life and business. In his book, Principles, Dalio shares that meditation has helped him make better decisions, maintain emotional balance, and remain focused on the long term rather than being driven by short-term gains. He credits much of his success to this spiritual practice, which allows him to remain detached from the highs and lows of the financial markets. Another modern figure who bridges the worlds of wealth and spirituality is Arianna Huffington, founder of the Huffington Post. After experiencing a personal burnout, Huffington turned to meditation and mindfulness practices to regain balance in her life. She has since become an advocate for redefining success, emphasizing that true success is not just about money and power, but also about well-being, wisdom, and wonder. In her book, Thrive, she writes about the importance of nurturing our inner lives, even as we pursue external achievements. One of the key lessons from both ancient and modern spiritual teachers is the importance of mindfulness in our relationship with wealth. When we approach money with awareness, understanding our motivations, recognizing our attachments, and staying grounded in the present moment, we can use it as a tool for good, rather than allowing it to control us. Mindfulness allows us to see wealth as a means, not an end. It enables us to maintain a sense of inner peace, even as we engage with the material world. This idea is echoed in the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Zen master. In his book, The Art of Power, Thich Nhat Hanh explains that true power comes from within. He writes that many people chase after wealth, status, and success in an attempt to find happiness, but they end up feeling emptier and more disconnected. True power, he argues, is the ability to master our own minds, to cultivate peace and compassion within ourselves. When we do this, material success becomes secondary. It is simply a reflection of the inner wealth we have already cultivated. In fact, many spiritual traditions teach that the more we give, the more we receive. This is not just a metaphor, but a practical principle. Generosity is a key virtue in Buddhism, Hinduism, and many other spiritual traditions. When we give freely without expecting anything in return, we create a flow of abundance that comes back to us in unexpected ways. The Tibetan Buddhist teacher Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche once said, "The more we give, the more we gain, although not necessarily in the ways we expect." This reflects a deep spiritual truth. Wealth is not about hoarding. It's about circulating energy, creating positive change in the world, and trusting that the universe will provide what we need. One striking example of this principle in action comes from the life of Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev, the founder of the Isha Foundation. Sadhguru is a yogi and mystic who has also built a global organization that runs a range of humanitarian and environmental initiatives. Despite his spiritual focus, Sadhguru has spoken openly about the importance of financial success in supporting his mission. He often says that money is just another form of energy that can be used for positive purposes, as long as we are not attached to it. Under his leadership, the Isha Foundation has raised millions of dollars for its programs, yet Sadhguru himself lives with very few personal possessions. For him, wealth is a tool for service, not a source of personal gratification. The journey to balance material wealth with inner peace is not a linear one. It requires continuous reflection, mindfulness, and self-awareness. It requires us to question our relationship with money, to examine our motives, and to align our actions with our deepest values. But the wisdom of the spiritual masters offers a clear path forward. Wealth, when pursued with mindfulness, generosity, and detachment, can coexist with and even enhance our inner peace. The lessons of these spiritual figures teach us that wealth is not something to be feared or shunned. Instead, it is something to be embraced, but with the right perspective. Success is not measured by the size of our bank account, but by the depth of our peace, the clarity of our mind, and the compassion we show to others. In the end, true wealth is found not in what we possess, but in who we become. And as we navigate the complexities of the modern world, we can draw on the timeless wisdom of the spiritual masters to guide us toward a life of both material abundance and inner fulfillment.